And rolling. What's up, y'all? My name is Ian Edwards, and welcome to the Soccer Comic Rant. And we just sliding into international break, which means Man U won't be losing any games. So and we won't be getting knocked out of any competitions because we've already been knocked out of them. And so all we can do is just watch the international friendlies and relax. But we will talk FA Cup and Southampton getting thrashed, and Chelsea, a Premier League team, finally beat Middlesbrough. It's Middlesbrough, right? Yeah, because they've been like giant killing over there. Jack and the Beanstalk championship team. And we'll get into Real Madrid versus Barcelona, Clasico, and some other stuff. So thanks for listening. If you're listening on Omni Studio, iTunes, and allthingscomedy.com. If you're at allthingscomedy.com, also go there and check out all the other podcasts there with other great comics. And the sponsor for the show is onthevolleyapparel.com. And they have tanks, tees, hoodies, sweatshirts, and with male for men and women with hip hop / soccer emblems and logos on the front. We got some dope ass gear there, so go there and check it out. Use our promo code Comic Rant, get 20% off. Also, we have Soccer Comic Rant t-shirts there, so go check that out. And I want to thank our producer Aaron Brungardt for hooking us up again. And we have two of the usual suspects. We have Neil Chakravarty, Chelsea fan, and he's just going through it. So we're here for lack of moral support, pretty much, and to bring him down more. What up, Neil? You good?
All's good.
Good. All right.
Just counting down the hours. Actually, might have a new owner by tonight.
Snap. All right. We'll get into that, and we have Lee Hudson, stand-up comic from England, Southampton fan. What up, Lee?
I'm just as glad to see the international break as you are right now. We need it.
Yeah, we should have. I wish there was a way to measure which one of us is happier right now that our teams. Like there's some type of meter, brain scan, or something. Because man, I shouldn't even have on this during the international. But like, what am I thinking? But because we're a football show, it's international break. One of the biggest games that happened this weekend wasn't in the Premier League. It wasn't an FA Cup game. It was El Clasico. So let's get into it. Barcelona versus Real Madrid. Real Madrid at the top of the table. Barcelona having a good transfer window and buying their way into the top four, even though they don't have any money. And they were a better team now than they were at the beginning of the season. And who wants to go first on what they thought of this game? I know I watched it. And Lee, you want to go first about it?
Yeah, I mean, it was a fun one to watch. I mean, I'm the opposite of you when it comes to those two teams. I prefer Barca more than Real. I know you lean more towards Real, so yeah. It was just good to see them back competing in those games. I think they'd lost the last 5 Clásicos in a row before that. So yeah, it was good to see that. Good to see Xavi's given them like some identity back a little bit. I still think they're a work in progress. People shouldn't get too carried away right now, but they're moving back in the right direction after this result. And
I think people I think people should get carried away.
I think like everything that could go wrong for Real did go wrong, but they were just bad as well. They were as bad as Barca were good, I think. But I mean, there's some interesting things. Like it's been interesting to see Dembele. He's like back to form. He's on the pitch, which is a start.
That's the Dembele they bought 4 years ago.
Yeah, that's the one they paid all that money for.
Yeah.
But I mean, some really good assists from him. He was whipping set pieces in. He was getting down the line and putting some good crosses in. Aubameyang looks reborn. I think the guy just needed some sun. I think that's all it is. He just needed to go somewhere sunnier. And yeah, I mean, obviously the header was good off Dembele's cross, and then the little chip finish was great. The assist for Ferran Torres was great as well. He had a great game. And yeah, I think, you know, the smart buys combined with the young talent they've got there as well means, yeah, it's exciting times for Barca. So yeah, just, you know, like I say, they were good, Real were bad, and this is what happens when that meets. But I mean, for that to happen in the Bernabeu as well is embarrassing for Real, really.
Yeah. Like, I saw this coming, you know? I saw this coming because, like, at the beginning of the season, you know, I'm able to watch a bunch of Premier League games, and I'm able to watch Bundesliga games and La Liga games. But as time has gone on, I haven't had a chance to really watch any Bundesliga games. I was also kind of sliding in some PSG games, but I've run out of time, and I did travel this weekend. So I really haven't been watching. If I'm a Real Madrid fan, but if I have time, I'll watch on the sneak tip Barcelona games, because I'm more than just being a Real Madrid fan. I'm just a fan of good football, and so I was at the beginning of the season. I was watching them both, but I've had less time, so I've said, let me see what's going on at Barcelona. You know, keep your enemies close, and I've been checking them out, and I like the way they play. It's starting to go in the direction of when Xavi used to be a player. And at the beginning of the season, Koeman got screwed because they took forwards away from him. Either, all right, season starts. Hey, Koeman, no Messi. Season starts going along. Hey, Koeman, we're sending Griezmann to your competitor. You lose. Hey, Koeman, this Memphis Depay, he's injured. He's going to be injured until you're fired for not scoring any goals. And then you're going to be out. And then we're going to bring in Xavi, and then it's going to be transfer window, and then we're going to get everybody that was injured back, and we're going to add to the team. But Xavi has definitely instilled his system, and he can't. Timing is everything. It's the right guy. He knows the whole place, he's even there's videos of him like training Adama Traore when Traore was a kid. He's got Traore back. That kicked Dembele in the ass and let him know Barcelona was serious. But Dembele stepped up his game. Like, I've been watching him over the last few weeks. It's tough to be the best player on a team that has so many good players. And I would say half the games he is. And that doesn't mean everybody else is playing bad. It means everybody else is playing good. Like Araujo, who scored the second goal, which shouldn't have been scored. That's sloppy. Like, you're defending Alaba and Militao. And by the way, Militao's been bad ever since I told you he was good, Lee. He's been terrible. Like, the game after I told you he's one of the top defenders in the world, he gave up the only goal for that game. And I think Real Madrid, yeah. And then he's just been doing terrible since. So now I can't defend him. He can't even defend himself. And it was fun to see Dembele and Aubameyang combine in Dortmund colors against, against an opposing team. So it felt like they were back at Dortmund again. Like, and they're playing in the yellow, and they're combining and putting the ball in the back of the net. And when I looked at the team sheet, the weak areas on Barcelona was Garcia, but he had a great game. But when I looked at the Real Madrid team sheet, the weak area to me is Nacho. And then when I realized that Nacho's on the same side of the field as Dembele, you're like, oh man, somebody's going to be roasted on a spit. They're going to be turned inside out the entire game. Like, that Nacho's meat can slide off the bone by the time Dembele is done with him after this game. Like it's going to be tenderized. And then I think there's one more thing. The game meant more to Barcelona than it did to Real Madrid, because Real Madrid has basically won La Liga, unless they really fuck up, right? So this game really meant more for Barcelona and their chance to finish in the top 4. And I think they're in the top 4, but they still have work to do to stay in it. Plus they have the revenge factor of losing 2 Clásicos already this season to Real Madrid. And Real Madrid, they're in the next round of the Champions League and they're at the top of the table. And even though this game was embarrassing and they lost, because of football math, they should still win the league, because the next closest team is Sevilla, and Barcelona play Sevilla. And if Barcelona beats Sevilla, that just creates a bigger cushion for Real Madrid at the top of the table, because the team that's second closest to them should most likely get beat by Barcelona.
Even after the loss, I think Real was still 12 points ahead.
I think it was 9, but maybe
9 ahead.
I thought it was 15 down to 12. I might be wrong.
12 points ahead of Barcelona.
Oh, 12 points ahead of Barca, sorry, yeah.
But
Yeah,
Barca have a game in hand.
Yeah, and it does. So I mean, but yeah, those are basically my thoughts. It's like, it just didn't mean that much to them, you know? It meant way more to Barcelona because of where they are in the table and just the emotionalness of like beating, and no Benzema and no Mendy. Nobody mentioned Mendy, but Mendy's very important. Like him playing behind Vinicius Jr. is just a devastating combination, and you're replacing. It's just tough. But all the Barcelona players are healthy. You're bringing on Memphis Depay, who was your leading scorer at the beginning of the year, on as a sub, is bananas. What do you have to say, Neil?
No, I mean, I was, like what you're saying, that probably didn't mean a lot for the Madrid team.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking that they will still, like, this is probably the only league game that matters to them from here on, because the league is pretty much sealed up for them. But another opportunity to, keep Barcelona down. I think the worst thing you want to do is, because you just see the vibe after the game. It's like Barcelona is winning the league.
Yo, I went into I was scrolling on Instagram, and they were in the locker room. I think they had champagne. The Barcelona had champagne, and I just wrote under the thing. I said, "Calm down." And I never
yeah.
So go ahead. Okay.
Because I mean, they haven't really had a lot of moments to celebrate, right, for so long now. So it's kind of understandable that they took the opportunity to really go out and celebrate. But at the same time, from a Madrid point of view, if you see your arch rival down, you want to keep them down. You don't want to give them the sort of belief that they now have, which this might be the turning point for this new Barcelona team, because they've got like a lot of young players. I remember at the beginning of the season, you really focusing on the fact that Koeman, it's going to take him time to work with these 17, 18-year-olds and get to some place. And it seems like Xavi has been able to do it and taken it to the next level, where you're actually implementing ideas against teams in the league, teams like Real Madrid, and executing them. And of course, he needed help in the transfer window, and he got that kind of help. Ferran Torres, Aubameyang, like the little back heel that Aubameyang did. He used to do that even at Arsenal, like a couple of years back. But that Aubameyang kind of disappeared. So it's great to see, like, he is, he's literally providing the finishing touch to a lot of these Barcelona moves. And he's kind of establishing himself as that main striker for Barcelona. So I was very interested to see from a Chelsea point of view, since we got drawn against Real Madrid, as to because I felt like in the game versus PSG, both legs, the first leg they were completely dominated, and the second leg also they were kind of dominated for a good 45-60 minutes, and then they came alive. So yeah, it does seem to be a very different Madrid team without Benzema, and as you said, like the other injuries to Mendy. I think it's going to be really exciting. This is probably the kind of game that Perez and all those guys in the Real Madrid boardroom needed to really kick into action. There's going to be a bloodbath in the transfer
Start
market.
overspending
Just
again.
on the just on the back of this one game. Like Perez is probably gonna go mad. Like you thought we were gonna get only Mbappe, you're gonna get Mbappe and Haaland. Like how dare you? How dare you do that to us?
I mean, if you look at the future of both clubs, which I've been talking to Moa, who comes on here sometimes. He's a diehard Barcelona fan, and Barcelona definitely has a better future. Like Real Madrid's midfield is old, and it's old. It's like they shouldn't be.
They've been old for a while. Yeah,
they've been old for a minute. They've won 4 Champions Leagues. That's how old they are. That means they've lost more in between, and they're still out there about to win La Liga, unless one injury to any one of them, it could be a major problem unless one of the young kids step up. And then it's just the sad thing is Bale is like, it's so crazy to have a team and Gareth Bale is a part of it. And he's not even considered a sub. And Hazard, your guy, is not even considered. Like yesterday, they started the game with no Benzema, and they never even said, let's use one of them, That is just how far, like, those guys, like, anybody watching yesterday from other teams around the world, normally everybody wants to rehab an old building and be like, we can DIY this player. But when they see that score and there was no attempt to reach for them off the bench, I don't know how much money Bale was planning on making after his contract ran out, but nobody's going to be like thinking he's restorable or reusable, But Barcelona has a better future, and like you said, like Mbappe might go to Real Madrid. We don't know where Haaland's going to go, but
I mean, they are trying to replace that midfield. They got Camavinga in, and there's lots of rumors of Tchouaméni, Pogba, and I heard even like Jude Bellingham is somebody they're looking at.
Damn.
But so I mean that's what they're gonna do, right? Like they're gonna literally throw money at that problem, but whether they'll be able to do it this summer itself is the question.
Yeah, because do they have enough room to do that financially?
I mean, it's interesting that you just say that Barcelona have a bigger base of young players, but it seemed like earlier on in the season that Madrid have the better squad. It's just that the guys that Barcelona have, they are shining through right now. So
Real Madrid is like a bunch of bananas. You got to eat them this season. They're going to be brown by next season. You can't even make banana bread with them next season. It's done.
I mean, they've tried to, this whole transition from that great 4-time Champions League winning team. They've tried to make transition from that. Like I remember this one summer they spent around 300 million in the same. So I don't even think it's been done 350 million by one team in one window. And they got Ferland Mendy, they got Luka Jovic, and that hasn't worked out. They got a bunch of others. I'll have to look up the exact thing. But they've also, like, a lot of these guys haven't really worked out. Like Luka Jovic hasn't worked out. Martin Odegaard, who they got, who's super young, he hasn't worked out. He's back at he's
Oh, he's
at Arsenal now.
working out all right, but just
But for Arsenal, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think they got Theo Hernandez around the same time. They obviously got Hazard, who's supposed to be the next big forward. That hasn't worked out.
Yeah.
So yeah, they made a Militao has kind of worked out.
No, yeah, he was
until you jinxed it. So so yeah, it'll be interesting though to see what they do. Like Barcelona, I was also reading that their financial troubles aren't over yet. They're in, I think, negative $190 million. So literally, they have to start cutting wage bills against this summer. If these numbers are, if they mean anything. But so are they going to go and again invest and get some, star forward or somebody like that? Because it seems pretty clear that Madrid is going to get Mbappe. So, and Haaland's going to move. So, is Barcelona going to take the bait on that?
Yeah, we'll see. It's a tough position. Lee, let me ask you a question. Who you are a fan of more, Arsenal or Aubameyang? And who do you think is doing better?
It's a hard question. I'm not particularly attached to either of them.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, at the moment, I don't think either of them are regretting the decision.
Right.
I mean, Arsenal are doing pretty well. It's like if, a couple have a breakup and then both of them find someone new that they like or something. Everything's like going well. Neither can really be too jealous of the other because, they both needed the breakup, I think.
Right.
It kind of got a bit toxic there. But I mean, going back to Barca and the money stuff, I don't know if you saw there's like I don't know if it's officially announced, but there's like some partnership they're going with Spotify.
Yeah.
Who are going to like put their name on the new camp and shirt sponsor. It's going to be like 70 million euros per season or something.
70?
Yeah, 70 per season.
That's crazy, just from the shirt sponsor.
Yeah, and the stadium. So it's going to be quite interesting. Like, I mean, it's not going to get them completely out of the hole, but it's going to help.
Yeah.
So the money that Spotify was going to use to buy Arsenal,
yeah,
they just like going to just bail out Barcelona with it.
It seems like the dude was just an Aubameyang fan, not an Arsenal fan.
Apparently, anywhere Aubameyang goes.
Daniel Kim, I guess his name, right? Yeah.
All right. Anybody else got anything else to say about this El Clasico? An embarrassment of Real Madrid at their home by Barcelona.
I hope Benzema takes as much time as he needs, takes a couple of months off to recover.
Well, he's got the international break.
He should rest up a little bit more.
I mean, he's going to need to be ready for for you guys and just the rest of the season. They cannot. He's the only. He's the only one. The forward they got,
But I mean, I think Vinicius and Benzema have been working really well. But again, like Vinicius was ineffective in this game, so it seems like they both need each other to make it work. I've just not been able to figure out what Madrid's level is. Like even in the Champions League group stages, if you remember, there were games where they lost to Sheriff, that the random team, and then they almost like dropped points against another team. So they've been very patchy. Even against PSG, I don't think they played that great. I think it was just the individual brilliance of Benzema that took them through. So yeah, and again last season against us, they were very similar. It took that Benzema wonder goal. We were very comfortable across both legs otherwise, but Benzema, did threaten to do it single-handedly for them.
Yeah, we'll see. It depends on, the mentality they get into this game with you guys at what they bring, and if they sustain it. but it's an old team. You know.
Do you guys know why Bernabeu has those huge?
It's under construction.
Yeah,
It's still under construction.
They're
Okay.
expanding. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's having a bunch of technology built under the pitch as well. It's going to have like a whole like retractable pitch thing for like concerts and things.
Oh, okay.
So I think there's some work going on around like the front sections, like the closest sections to the pitch,
Oh, okay.
so that they can then put it in or something like that.
Yeah, it's like $1 billion renovation thing, right? Yeah. The other game, Jesse Marsh, baby. Wolves versus Leeds. Jesse Marsh, 2
Ted Lasso
wins, 2 last. Ted Lasso, and he shit on Ted Lasso, but if anybody's like Ted Lasso, it's this guy. I haven't even seen Ted Lasso yet, but Jesse Marsh be hugging the air. He be hugging the ball boys. He be hugging everybody. He talks enthusiastically, and like I'm sure before they write the next season of Ted Lasso, the writers will be watching him to get information on what the next season should be. But super impressive. Wolves is beating their ass 2-0, just clowning them and in control of the game. And then there's a second yellow card to Jimenez. I don't think he should have got a yellow card for the first play. I think that was just like, it's just, force meets force, a collision, trying to get to the ball, just give the foul, but they gave him a yellow in the first, got a yellow in the second, and they're 2 goals up with 10 men, and they were at Wolves, right?
Yeah.
So you can still win that game. You're Wolves. You're in the top half of the table. Leeds are down by the bottom, but they came back in a spectacular fashion. Anybody want to speak on this game first?
I mean, Wolves kind of did it to themselves. I don't know if you saw the defending on some of those goals.
Oh yeah.
It was comedy stuff.
Yeah.
Like they were like kicking the ball up in the air in their own penalty area and just not clearing things. So yeah, they kind of self-destructed with 10 men. I mean, there's ways to play with 10 men. Some teams do it really well and can, defend a lead or something. But Wolves clearly could not because they pressed the self-destruct button in a big way. I mean, Leeds still had to force them into those mistakes though, and they played with intensity. And they went after it, which was what you got to do in that situation. But then Wolves gave them a big helping hand as well.
Yeah. First half, Leeds played like a Bielsa team. Second half, they played like a Jesse Marsh team. They just got empowered definitely by the Jimenez sending off, and it's an impressive win for sure. And especially when you score 3 goals after being 2 goals down to a team that doesn't and hasn't given up a lot of goals all season. Like 2 goals is more than what Wolves needs to win a game against anybody, much less.
Yeah.
And then for them to just get 10 men on that, you're right, is pretty impressive.
I'll actually be surprised if they've conceded 3 in the Premier League in any game. Let me just check.
Yeah. I don't think they have, because they've had like the stingiest defense besides Man City.
Yeah, first game of the season.
Yeah, first game of the season.
3 games, 3 goals. Yeah.
Who was that? Spurs?
No, Leeds.
Oh, that they scored 3 goals?
No, that they've conceded 3. Wolves have never conceded 3 apart from this game.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, that's what I was thinking about. Yeah. But
they've conceded 2 a bunch of times, but yeah, even 2, it's only been like 5 times. So they've been very stingy at the back.
And Leeds is being super generous at the back.
Yeah.
Like that Wolves defense turned into the Leeds defense.
Yeah.
But what do you think about Jesse Marsh winning 2 games in a row?
And both comebacks.
Mm-hmm.
So, and like at that, when you're because they were kind of similar to Everton, flirting with relegation, right? I think at that stage you just need a win here, a win there. So this might actually be the game that seals their, the fact that they don't have to go through that relegation fight anymore, because you don't really need a lot of wins.
Yeah, I mean, they're 7 points ahead of Watford.
Yeah.
They played one game more, but they're on 29. Watford are on 22.
Yeah.
Burnley are behind them on 21 after 27 games, but Everton are still in the mix as well. And I mean, don't you want to talk about their result of the weekend at all? I mean, I know it's FA Cup, but that doesn't bode well for league football as well.
Yeah, let's talk about that area of the table, because like you were saying, Leeds got 29 points, but they played 30 games. Everton is right behind them. They got 25 points, but they've only played 27 games. They got 3 games in hand. So they could still finish above Leeds, or they can, get dragged down to the bottom. Watford is 18th with 22 points, 29 games played. Burnley is 19th with 21 points and 27 games played. So they got game in hand. They got the same amount of games in hand as Everton and Norwich. They're just, they're like Jack when Kate Winslet woke up on that piece of board. They're just frozen and just cut adrift and sinking to the bottom of that ice water. And so I think it was Lee who mentioned that it was an FA Cup game this weekend that Everton lost, but that's bad. And what do you think about what Frank said about the team after?
I mean, he threw him under the bus.
But didn't they throw him under the bus by their performance first?
Maybe a little bit, but I mean, he's fully put it on them. He said like they played with no bollocks, so no balls. He said that he sort of took the blame off himself. He said the tactics were fine. He said he was like, Palace couldn't get out their half in the first 20 minutes. He's like, the tactics were fine. This is all down to players. So he's basically just saying like, not me. And I think that's a risky leadership style.
Very high risk.
Yeah. He's learned from Jose, hasn't he? I think that one.
Oh yeah.
It's not me, it's them. And given that if he messes up here, I don't think he's going to get another Premier League job for a while. So, this is his career on the line here, I think. And I mean, so far it's not going too great. Like I say, it's a big risk to put it on the players. Even if you think it's them and you tell them that privately, sometimes publicly you got to just, try and create a bit of a different mentality. And I don't think what he's done is going to do that. So it'd be interesting to see the next few games to see whether that gamble has worked or not, because it might fire them up or it might just make them go, fuck this guy. He's not helping us.
I feel like, go ahead, Neil.
And it's super weird, like the way this team has been playing. Like I was looking at I've seen some of their games, and I mean, like, they seem fine. And then I see the results on the other weekends. It's just like they're getting hammered. So it seems like what's happening, that their home and away records are so different. Like, so He took over. First game at home, beat Brentford 4-1 in the cup. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Then second game away, lost to Newcastle 3-1.
Mm-hmm.
Third game home, 3-0 win over Leeds United. Then away game, Southampton lost 2-0. Again at home, Man City lost closely. You should have probably gotten a draw there.
Yeah,
that was the one. No.
They should have got the penalty. They should have
got the penalty, yeah. And then again, next game at home, beat Bournemouth 2-0. Then again, away, lost final.
Your audio's gone. Your audio's gone, Neil.
Neil's been hacked by Frank Lampard. Talk shit about me.
Your audio left Neil. Now, I think it's back now. Talk. Nah, no audio. Can't hear you. Yeah. Those are some telling stats too. So it's just when Everton is home, they're on their best behavior. Their parents are there watching the game, and they're like, hey, y'all. Yeah, and then it's like they forget there's cameras that go with them when they're away, and that their parents can see that they're not acting right. And they feel like there's no repercussions for like taking the day off on the road. But I feel like Frank is in training and he's watched the game and he's pissed at them, and he might have seen enough to be like, fuck these guys too, which is wrong thing to do because you're going to need them.
Yeah, especially like if you're trying to, if it's clear like the home, the home support is working. So if you're trying to get the fans on your side, how are you going to get the fans on your side, but then don't have the players on your side?
Yeah, so you might start losing your home games now based on
Yeah, exactly. Because like they've played 6 games home, 6 games away. I don't think they've had a single bad game at home, and they haven't had a single good game away. So even if from a very pure survival point of view, they probably
keep losing your audio again. Keep losing you. You might have to plug out and then plug back in.
But on the subject of Everton, their next 2 games are both away.
Oh shit!
Away to West Ham and then away to Burnley. I mean, if they lose to West Ham, then away to Burnley becomes really big, because obviously Burnley could almost catch them by that point.
Yeah,
they could go right behind them if they beat them. So, I mean, Burnley aren't going to win their next game because they're playing City first and then Everton. So, but yeah, then Everton's 3rd game is Man United at home.
Yeah, that's going to be trouble for us because we're going to be in front of their parents, so their parents probably make them play better, which is going to be
strange.
trouble.
They've got the 2 away games, and then they have 3 home games in a row.
Yeah, they can win at least 2 of those home games.
Which is quite weird. The home games are you guys, Palace, and Leicester. But then,
go ahead.
After that, they play Liverpool away and Chelsea at home. So they've got some interesting games.
Yeah, I think they'll survive because I think Burnley's time is finally up, and I don't think Watford has enough. But it could be, this will be a disaster, like you said, for Frank Lampard's career if Everton gets relegated. Like it's bad enough for his career if he just barely survives, but to get relegated, which
they've never been relegated in their history.
Yeah, that's
over 100 years.
They would hate him more than they hate Benitez right now. The fans, yeah, they'd be like on site. It'd be on site. An ass whooping for Lampard. What did Brentford played? Who did Brentford beat?
Leicester. They lost to Leicester.
They lost to Leicester. So Leicester did their thing. And who else did they want to talk to? Tottenham. Martin's not here. He said he's recording something, but Tottenham beat. Let's see, who did they beat?
West Ham.
West Ham.
Convincingly as well.
Yeah. West Ham ain't ready for a European spot. It's just, they're like Leicester every year. Like, they'll hang around, but when it comes down to the cutthroat part of the season, to see if you're ready for Europe, like a top 4 spot in Europe, because they're in Europe, and Leicester gets in Europe. But for Europe, like major destination Europe, they're not ready. Their squad is too small, and they're just not good enough. Like, you have a 31-year-old striker who's played fullback for most of his career as a striker, and they just played that extended game in the Europa League, like
Sevilla,
against Sevilla, which they won to their credit. But yeah, this was going to be a tough one. They definitely were leggy and tired with a small squad after winning in Europe in overtime during the week. It showed. So maybe Tottenham got lucky. Everybody's like, Conte's happy, but they're like the winning version of Everton. They're Jekyll and Hyde too, just at the high end part of the table. You know, this Tottenham team could just be just as frustrating as Everton is, but with points. And then Manchester United didn't play, so we got lucky. We talked about Wolves, Villa, Arsenal. Just to get into Arsenal, just Pac-Manning up the points, just gobble, eating their way through anybody they face. And, they lost to Liverpool midweek, which I felt like they had a chance of doing something there. And it was close for a minute until Liverpool found that extra gear that Arsenal just learned about. But they recovered against Villa. Like, Villa got a lot of new players, and but they just shook. Villa's ninth, and Arsenal made them look like frustrated and felt like they couldn't do anything, and made them feel like let's just get to the end of the 90 minutes. There's nothing we could do against these guys. Did you get a chance to check out that game, Arsenal Villa?
Yeah, I mean, I saw a bit of it, and Arsenal looking good. And like you say, that Villa team's no walkover right now.
Right.
They got form players. They got players that are playing well, and Arsenal. I know it was only 1-0, but they looked pretty comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the whole Arteta revival is it's interesting. It's looking good right now, and I think it'd be huge for them to get back into the Champions League. Because obviously, it's been a minute since they were in there. So if they could get that, I think it allows them to attract better players in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
And then who knows? They could start re-establishing themselves as one of the big four, which is constantly changing. But then if you guys, are fighting for it as well, there's just the more teams that are at a high level, then the better it is for the league.
You know what you said about Arsenal, like attracting big players? They don't even need big players because they're finding the players that are young, that aren't big players, but will be impactful. So it's not like, they're definitely rebuilding, but now I feel like if any young football player is watching Arsenal, they're like, I want to be a part of that and build this thing. And then now they have the incentive of like, oh, we're going to be in Champions League too. So yeah, that's an extra advantage for like. Anything you want to say about Arsenal, Neil?
It's finally coming together. Huh? So I think the Liverpool game, they played pretty well, I felt, for the first half. And it kind of it's just the quality of Liverpool that kind of swept them away, and them not being clinical. And they have to be. We've faced that problem against teams like City and Liverpool in the past few years. So it's pretty normal for that to happen in a team that's building up towards, like they've been a 8th position team for the past couple of seasons. They're now trying to make that next step. So I think they're very comfortable where they are right now. They do have a tougher run-in than United and Spurs, though. So
yeah, tell me some good news. What's the run? Because if you know Manchester United, we're the tough running. Because we give up in the middle of something we're not winning. So
they have, let me see. Yeah, so they have Crystal Palace, which is fine, I guess. They have Brighton, and then they have so they have Tottenham, which wasn't played, and they have Chelsea. They have United. So they have 3 of those teams in there, and they have West Ham. So they have 4 of the teams which are, either around them or above them. And I think United have.
We got some tough shit coming up.
You have, well, Leicester shouldn't really be counted as tough anymore, right? But hopefully. I'm talking about like 6th and above.
Right.
You have Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea. So you have 3. They have what? They have 4.
Yeah, I think
they have 4. You have 3, and then Tottenham has. Let's see how many Tottenham have.
I feel like I'd rather have their schedule.
Tottenham have Arsenal, Liverpool. Tottenham actually have the easiest run.
They'll mess that up though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think Tottenham's going to beat Arsenal. Like when Arsenal beat Tottenham at the beginning of the season in the 4th game or the 6th game, was that at Tottenham?
That was at Arsenal.
Oh, it was at
Arsenal, yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So it'd be interesting to. I mean, I'm a full-on gooner that day.
It's hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I feel like 4th is there. It's just
it's there to drop.
Yeah. You think they can catch you guys? You both got 28 games. You got 59 points. They got 54. Is that possible?
I mean, it's no, I don't think it's possible anymore. A couple of weeks back, when you're having that run of just draw after draw, we are not really losing games, but you kept having so many draws. I think then, they did come theoretically pretty close because they always had games in hand. But now I think 5 points gap is good enough.
Yeah, I think Chelsea getting some players back as well, like Reece James is back and things like that.
Yeah,
which makes a difference. I know there's some other stuff going on right now, but I think Chelsea are consistent enough to not let a 5-point gap slip between now and the end of the season. There's 10 games left.
Yeah,
for both teams, and I think Chelsea are too consistent to drop that kind of gap. And I don't think Arsenal are going to be consistent enough to take advantage of that gap, even if Chelsea lose 1 or 2 games.
The irony is Chelsea is the only team that the war in the Ukraine has helped performance-wise, because ever since the sanctions, they've won
6-6.
6-6. So good for the players, but when they're being interviewed, like Mount was being interviewed, and that even the reporters kind of push them in the direction of this answer, which is it's tough. You can't say tough when there's people in the country being bombed. Just say we're doing, and I know it's tough to find the words. Just say we're just doing our jobs. Just say some shit. There's no comparison. I just feel like one day somebody's going to trip them up and come at them, even if they're, there's some difficulties, but it ain't tough. So I'm trying to see what else is on this thing we can talk about. What's the next?
You want to talk about the Chelsea ownership thing while we're talking about them right now?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What ownership? Who owns them?
It was just so crazy because we are used to, as football fans, to deal with the transfer window, deadline day, all of that happening, so many rumors floating around. This was deadline day for the club.
Hilarious.
It's who's gonna get it? Who's gonna get this? And there's all these sort of different consortiums, and it became pretty frenetic. It felt like, when you're watching WWE back in the day and Royal Rumble, there's different alliances and factions start forming on the day off. And
Me
that's
and
kind of,
Lee are adults who never watched the WWE. So keep go on with your embarrassing analogy.
actually, I was a kid back in India watching it. And then at some point we got figured out it was all fake. And I was like, but when I'm watching it, that's an arena full of adults. So how come they haven't figured it out yet?
Well, you know what's funny about it? It's
Yeah.
like I didn't know it was fake until I found out it was fake.
Yeah.
So I have the same view as you, but my view is, all right, how come people kept on watching it after
exactly.
they found out it was fake?
Yeah, like if you look at the arena, if you look at it on TV, it's not like a bunch of people. Like when I was that young, it wasn't people, just kids watching. There's like fully grown adults watching, right? So
yeah,
I think I stopped at about 14.
I probably stopped at 20.
So yeah, like it kind of had that feeling of so Todd Boehly, the guy, the Dodgers guy, who seems to be the front runner right now. It turned out like he was at the beginning. It turned out like he's because the Swiss billionaire who's working with him, he was the first guy who blew the lid off this whole thing that the club is even up for sale. This is even before Abramovich said anything. And he had said, like, you know, the price that Abramovich wants, 2.5 billion pounds and stuff like that, is just way overvalued, you know, so we're never going to pay that. It turns out now there are 5 or 6 different consortiums, including his, who are at the 3 billion pound mark. And so the news came out that the Boehly consortium now is overfunded. So like everybody's kind
the which
the Todd Boehly, the Howard Weiss, the Swiss guy, and the LA Dodgers guy. So from the United States, it seems like the LA Dodgers owner Todd Boehly is their one bid, and then there's the Ricketts family, the Chicago Cubs family, and they've gotten a lot of heat, a lot of stuff, you know, from their past, like, you know, racist and sexist stuff that they have on their record has come out. So there's been a movement to make sure that they don't get because it seems like financially they are going to be one of the heavy bids.
Which is a step down from the owner you have now. So it's at least they're getting better. Comparatively, we'll have better owners. Still
well,
terrible.
this is probably the first time that the fans feel like they have some sort of a way. At least the match-going fans, like the Chelsea supporters trust, all those guys, they feel like they have some sort of a, like they can at least make noise. There's social media, so
yeah. When the players kneel before the game, they'll be kneeling against their new owners. To stop racism.
So it's them, and then there's Woody Johnson. I guess he's the New York Jets guy. So he has a bid in, and I know I got the same feedback in review format from people who know the Jets.
And if you know the Jets, you don't want that. Yeah, bro.
Yeah, there's a couple of other, like Sacramento Kings, the Indian guy, Vivek, he and the consortium. So there's like a bunch of people here. There's this Nick Candy guy from UK who is being backed as, you know, this Chelsea fan who's so now all these consortiums to suck up to the fans have got like long-term Chelsea fans on their bids to counteract, I think, because Nick Candy was, you know, going really big on the fact that he is a season ticket holder, but he was broke like till like the last couple of days. It seemed like he's got such a long shot because he just doesn't have any money behind his bid, and now suddenly out of nowhere there's a South Korean sovereign fund, like the entire pension fund of South Korea is backing him, and that's got around $800 billion in assets. So suddenly, from becoming a meme, like everybody's calling him Candy Crush, and now suddenly he's one of the front runners. So then there's obviously the Saudi group, that's the Saudi media group. That's I think those are the ones who actually raised the bid from, you know. So everybody's had to pull towards that 3 million pound figure because of their initial bid. So
let me ask you a question. It's one, two
I don't
answers
have a
in-
favorite.
And so the other question is, who do Chelsea fans have? It feels like you're choosing, it feels like an American presidential election where you're just choosing
Yeah.
the lesser of the two evils. So who are Chelsea fans leaning towards? If not you.
I think the only real opinion has been that the Say No to Ricketts campaign. So we don't want the Ricketts guy, and probably don't want the Woody Johnson guy. But
Do you think the Saudi group who are pushing the price up are just working on behalf of Newcastle to try and make sure whoever the new owners are spending as much money as possible on the bid that they don't have enough left for players?
So here's the thing with the Saudi media group, right? They are a private consortium, so they're like they're not the PIF, they're not the state. But as you
no
said,
one
rightly,
privately has that wealth in Saudi Arabia without being connected to the state.
but see, that's the thing. Like, if you are connected to the state, obviously your bid won't go through, because it's not just the fact that they'll have to prove that you're not part of the state. It also raises conflict of interest issues with the Newcastle ownership, right? That's already there. So there's two things. One is precedence. Like, if you let PIF own own Newcastle, how are you gonna make your test even more stricter now to not let somebody who's even more removed from the state to own it? But I have a feeling that they're not even going to be put up, because I think there's a desire to not have a politically sensitive ownership. So, and the UK government probably just throw them out. So I like the looks of the Bailey guy, Todd Bailey. I think he looks pretty. Like, I've read a lot of his interviews, heard him speak about sports and what he thinks of. One thing I really liked what he said was, like, even from a commercial point of view, even if you're just interested in a sports franchise as an investment commercially, winning always helps. Like, the more you win, the more frequently you win, it also helps you raising the commercial element of that club. So I think he's a good guy. I think he believes in he has a lot of his belief in sports scouting data. So seems a pretty modern owner from that point of view. But I really don't know. I'm trying to figure out so many things about all these owners.
This doesn't sound good, man. None of this sounds
This is like being on week 1 of The Bachelor. Like, you're excited by all the interest shown towards you, but you really don't know who's who.
I don't know, man. These are not great choices.
You don't know which one of those owners has herpes right now.
Yeah.
Financial herpes.
Yeah.
Maybe the best chance you got is the Korean group. Because
Korea never does anything funny.
They might have the cleaner money. And there's other Korean owners in the league that nobody really questions. So, and then the league
Samsung back as a shirt sponsor.
I would love that. That's like my biggest, because when I read that, so okay, so this is what I'm just gonna read this one tweet out of the latest that came out of the so Nick Candy's Blue Football Consortium has significant backing from South Korea after increasing his bid from $2 billion today. So Catalina Kim, who's from that sports group, confirms the new investment comes with strategic partners of the club. And this is basically the National Pension Service of Korea, a public pension fund in South Korea, the third largest in the world with $800 billion in assets. The Korea Investment Corporation, it's a sovereign wealth fund established by the government of Korea with many assets under management, and by Samsung Group, Hyundai, LG, and then there's a bunch of other company who I don't really know much about. So if Samsung come back, yeah, that'd be a good sign.
You've had Hyundai on the Schließ before, haven't you?
They are our current sleeve sponsor, and they're the one
Yeah.
of the ones that backed out.
Ah.
But we don't even have money to buy replacement kits, so we're still wearing the 3 and the Hyundai.
Oh, shit. So they're getting like free ads?
I
I know
mean,
they paid for it. They're getting ads that they don't want now.
yeah, they don't want their name out there. So they're like, basically, I think that's the best case scenario. Like, wear them, take their money, and then absolutely pummel them online, abuse them with chants in the stadium. Like make sure they get no positive output that you could expect from.
But it's not their fault either.
Hey, you got to stand through the storm. Nike's staying. Trivago, I'm gonna book all my holidays from Trivago now. They're staying. So,
You're turning into the people who are chanting Abramovich in the stadium. That's what you're turning into.
I'm not quite doing that, but this is the thing. Like everybody keeps saying that, like even the UK government, right? They're so lame about this. They keep saying that the intention is to hurt Abramovich and not Chelsea and not the fans. But then it's been 2 weeks now. Fans have still not been able to buy tickets, and so you're saying something, but you're doing something completely different. So.
Aren't they trying to make sure that, like, for the FA Cup semi-final at Wembley, they want the fans to be able to buy tickets, but the proceeds go to Ukrainian charities rather than to the club or something?
I mean, that's something that they should have, like, when you take a step like, putting sanctions on a certain club's owner, they should have already been in place. And of course, they want to do it for Wembley because it hurts them to see a half-filled Wembley, on TV on their biggest one of the biggest.
They're used to it after COVID. They're used to seeing an empty Wembley, so that ain't nothing. They've been conditioned to half empty.
Yeah.
So cases are going back up right here now. So the stadiums might be empty soon anyway.
Oh yeah.
Oh damn. Yeah, there's a new variant. So Lee, you're saying they should give the money to charity, or that's happening?
It's being it's one of the solutions that has been put out there. I don't think there's been any decisions yet.
That's a good idea. I think they do that. Like make the money and give it to some, help some people with it.
Yeah, help the refugees and the people that have been displaced.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's part of the idea with the sale too, like the proceeds from the sale. They do want to give it to charity. They just don't want Abramovich to have anything to do with it. But I don't know. This it seems pretty unclear right now. Like what exactly is going to be the sequence of events. Like the Rain Group and Chelsea board, who have both been appointed by Abramovich, are they going to select the new owner, or is the government gonna only veto or confirm or deny on the short list? So I don't really know what's gonna happen, but there've been rumors from some of the, they've been reporting from some of the credible journalists that it could happen as soon as Tuesday, so it's just like in the next 24 hours.
So how are they gonna do? Is there gonna be smoke coming from Stamford Bridge? Like, how do they notify y'all? Is there a live cam that you could go to online to see who's going to be awarded?
Reece James is gonna have a new hairstyle.
John Terry's going to reveal the new owners by NFT.
John Terry. Oh, this is something else that John Terry and Rafferty, who's used to play for the Chelsea ladies team, they combined with another investment bank to put up 350 million. And so their pitch is that this is going to be a 10% stake on whoever wins eventually. And it's going to be part owned by the fans and by the players. And
that's a part of your group too. Your group is included in the Chelsea pitch.
They're trying to get the support backing of the Chelsea pitch owners. I think the Chelsea pitch owners have put out a statement saying that, we support it in principle, but we are not putting an actual opinion on which bid should win. So it's a little complicated. So let's see where the pieces fall.
Yeah. You guys want to talk FA Cup?
No.
Which still includes Chelsea?
Nope.
Why don't you want to talk FA Cup? You Southampton played. It's crazy that you don't want to discuss Southampton. What happened?
We played well for a half.
Yeah.
You did more than a half.
We started with Shane Long as well, so we didn't really give a shit about this game.
Oh, I was going to ask you, like, how serious did you guys take this game? What was your lineup like? So did you guys ask for this scoreline based on your lineup? Or did you guys and why wouldn't you care? Because you're going to get to rest players for the next 2 weeks. So why wouldn't you?
Yeah, I was a little bit annoyed that we didn't go with our strongest 11. It wasn't like the worst 11. Let me just tell you who it was. So we had Forster in goal. We had Livramento and Walker Peters at fullback, which is fine. Stevens and Salisu played centre back, which is, we normally have Bednarek there, but he wasn't available, so Stevens is fine. Romeo and Ward-Prowse in the middle, Armstrong and Oyusu, so that's all fine. But the front two was Adam Armstrong and Shane Long, who neither of them started a game for ages in the league.
So. They don't score. Long doesn't score, and Armstrong's trying to learn how to score in the Premier League. And this is a Premier League match.
We brought Brozier and Shea Adams off the bench eventually. But I mean, to be fair though, we were 1-1 half time with that team, so they weren't doing that bad. But I mean, the thing is, a City, because they scored a penalty to go 2-1 up, and Forster almost saved that penalty as well from De Bruyne. Yeah. But then once City go ahead again, they just the quality told. Mahrez scored really quickly afterwards, and you could just see the quality there. And Foden not long after the penalty, and then Mahrez really quickly after that. So yeah, they had too much for us, which is, I don't think it's a disgrace against City. It's a shame we couldn't do more, but I mean, it happens.
They just left-footed you to death. Foden's goal, Mahrez's goal. Who else scored with a left foot? Sterling? Did Sterling score to the left?
I think Sterling was right foot.
Right foot. De Bruyne scored, right? Did he score the penalty?
Yeah, he scored the penalty,
yeah. Yeah, I was like, I just don't understand why you didn't care. Why didn't Hudson who care? I just why not go for it?
I don't know. Then if he didn't want to give people a chance, he thought they deserved it, maybe in training or something. I don't know. Yeah, slightly strange one, but like I say, I mean, it's City, so who knows? We probably weren't going to get anything even if we played the best team.
No, you beat them.
We've drawn with them twice this season.
So exactly, so this is a team you've taken points from them, home and away, this season. So you could beat them. You have the confidence, you have the chance to advance. Are they playing these games in Wembley? This is the semifinals now. Is
next round is, I think, yeah.
Next round is it.
This is confusing.
Yeah. I would prefer us to go strong, but I mean.
Yeah, I mean the Southampton, right now in the league, you're pretty much secure. Probably not gonna get any of the European spots. So
yeah, the season's over for us in terms of we're not going to be relegated, and we're not going to go any higher than we are really. So
just like PSG.
Getting trounced by Monaco.
And they have nothing to play for.
Yeah, don't bring that Pochettino shit over here.
He's coming. I'm telling you, he's coming.
Don't bring that Poch shit to Manchester
all the papers
United.
here are saying, everyone here is saying Ten Hag.
Yeah, that's what they're saying now. That's what I'm hearing a lot. Thank God. But here, is it not PSG? Ajax was at home getting booed this weekend. I think against Feyenoord, whoever was second in it, because they went down 2-0. But then they pulled it out on 1-3-2. But the home fans were booing.
Yeah.
So, but
yeah, they hate Feyenoord. That's a big one.
This is great. Like Ten Hag and Pochettino are really preparing for the Man United move.
they
Like getting knocked out of Champions League, getting booed by their own fans.
Damn. And Chelsea, how you feel about your Chelsea beating Middlesbrough, finally like defeating this team that's like been cutting through Premier League teams in the FA Cup?
Yeah, it was a pretty comfortable win, except for a brief period in the second half. It started off really nice. I think could have had another goal in the first half. But got those goals really early, and after that it was kind of like we are just kind of coasting for the rest of the game. Middlesbrough did give us some trouble in the second half for a period. Lots of crosses that were causing us trouble. They have this right back who's pretty good. I forget his name. He was giving a lot of trouble. I think we played Kennedy on one side. Like Kennedy came on after a while. But good thing is Lukaku got the goal, Mount got 2 assists, Ziyech got the goal. We are right now the forward line, which has been the biggest problem. Like if you see the first half of the season, a lot of our goals were coming from wing backs and defenders. Right now we are at a stage where our forward line is consistently contributing to goals. Like Pulisic scored midweek, Havertz scored the previous week, so he's been scoring. So yeah, and especially like hopefully by all the ownership thing gets sorted by the time we come back from the international break, and because I really don't want to play Real Madrid over 2 legs without any of our fans. So yeah.
Ooh, man, that might be the difference.
Yeah, I mean the current situation is that if the game happens tomorrow, we are playing with like behind closed doors at Stamford Bridge.
When you beat them in the Champions League winning season, that was behind closed doors, right?
Yeah, but it was like there were no both legs were behind closed doors.
Real Madrid is a smell blood team.
Yeah. But I kind of feel good like seeing the way our forward line is playing. Like if we really just go for it, I think we can repeat what we did. If we play like how we did last season, we shouldn't really have any problems.
I don't know who your owners are going to be, but if the first thing they do when they come in is sell Lukaku, you got trash owners. And because they're going to use them as an excuse to try to make money right away. And that's where you're going to go. That's the direction you're going to head in.
I think I won't be surprised if new owners come in and try to do something to impress the fan base, because that's what a lot of owners do.
You want to impress the fan base? Don't do nothing. The team is fine. just let Tuchel have more time with them. Maybe one. You probably defense. I would only tamper with your defense because you don't have any deals for the players that's there, and your defense is your issue.
I would. Did Azpilicueta get a automatic renewal?
He has. So it's weird. Like he apparently on his contract he has an automatic renewal based on number of games, and he's passed that threshold. But I think still you can't activate that on the technicality that you're committing to more money, okay. And so it's a transaction. You can't have any transactions. So, but hopefully, I think if a new owner comes in, the first thing you should do is get Rudiger signed on, no matter what it takes. Because I think the talks were going pretty well before all of this happened. So get Rudiger signed on, give Tuchel a proper contract instead of this whole weird 18 months, 12 months thing that he's on. And I would personally like if Christensen also gets that contract extension. But I think with Christensen, it's more of a thing that he just wants to play for Barcelona. So he's going, even though I don't think they're giving him any bigger salary than what we are offering him. So, but yeah, just do a couple of these things and then, give Tuchel what he wants in the summer.
Is it question time yet?
Oh, yeah.
Or let's see, the 4 semifinals. No, it's the semifinals of the FA Cup.
Yeah, City versus Liverpool. That's going to be a great game. And they also play each other in the league around the same time.
So this confuses me even more, Lee. Like, why didn't he go for it? You get to play at Wembley. It's a team that couldn't beat you all season. If you ever find out why he didn't go for it, let me know. Why put 2 duds? Like, he put more blanks in the Southampton starting lineup than Alec Baldwin had when he was shooting that movie. Like, this is crazy. I don't understand this. So City versus Liverpool, another matchup of the last League Cup final. Who y'all got?
We got Crystal Palace.
No, I mean, who do you got?
Oh, okay.
City versus Liverpool in the semifinals of the FA Cup.
How close is it to their league game? Because neither.
I think it's the same week.
They might want to not reveal their hand.
No, it's right after. One is right after the other. So I don't know which one is first, but it's like one is right after the other.
Because let's face it, the league game is bigger.
Yeah.
So if the FA Cup game's first, they might not want to reveal their hand tactically.
But Liverpool has a chance to win the quadruple. City has a chance to win the treble. So,
but I think they'd both rather win the league than nothing.
But also, let's face it, they can start strong. Man City ain't really resting anybody because you're just going to play someone you would play if you didn't have the other players anyway. Like they both got strong starting 12s to 22. Right? Like they got enough.
The league games first.
And how many days apart is the?
Well, it's crazy. So 5th of April is City versus Atletico Madrid. Then they play Liverpool in the league on the 10th, and then they play Atletico again on the 13th, and then they play Liverpool potentially on the 16th. Well, depends what day that. It's not been confirmed exactly what day the semi is yet.
Mm.
So they got Liverpool. So they got Atletico, Liverpool, Atletico, Liverpool.
Man. City should be able to. So City has Atletico, right? City should be able to beat Atletico.
Yeah.
And what's Liverpool's schedule like that in that same period like?
Tell me now. Because Liverpool got Champions League as well, so they play Benfica, then City, then Benfica, then City. That's it. Yeah.
They have a fairly easy Champions League round though, compared to Man City.
Who they got? Benfica?
They got Benfica. City got Atletico Madrid.
Yeah.
Benfica might be on the low more difficult than we are looking at. For some reason, I get the feeling that there's a reason they beat Ajax. I'm alerted. Like now I'm like paying attention. Now I want to know who their coach is. and who they got on that team. I like this. I don't think this is some luck. They beat a team that was cutting through the Champions League, and nobody else could beat them. And how these guys just do it?
Nah, they'll lose to Liverpool. All you need to know, Neil, is they have Ian, is they have Otamendi. That's all you need to know. They'll lose.
I mean, teams have won despite Otamendi before, but you're right. Man City, that's how I know Pep is a good coach. He won the league with Otamendi. Like, that's a feat, if anything. Sorry, Otamendi, but Jesus.
Yeah.
And then Crystal Palace, Chelsea. I'm gonna go with Crystal Palace. Let me ask you a question, Neil. What's his face play against Chelsea in this game?
Gallagher?
Yeah.
Well, I think as per the agreement of the loan, he cannot. But in a situation like this, I think they can request, and then it's up to Chelsea to either agree or disagree. They should disagree.
They should?
Yeah. Because we've done this in the past. I remember a couple of years back, I think it was the Sari season, where we faced Derby under Frank Lampard, and a request came in from Derby to have Tomori and Mount play in that game, and we allowed them. And they both were pretty good in that game. We narrowly won 3-2 due to there were 2 own goals that helped us to win. So, but I guess, I don't know. I don't think we need to do Crystal Palace, another Premier League team, any favors. It was just different. Derby County under Frank Lampard. We've also played in the past a Champions League game against Atletico Madrid with Thibaut Courtois, who was on loan from us at Madrid in the semi-finals, and we lost to them. So there have been a few famous instances of loan players coming to bite us back.
Right. Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, I would love to see him play against Chelsea, but yeah, I don't think they.
I would have loved to, like, if this was Gallagher, who we don't usually get much of a chance to see, but we're seeing him every week in the Premier League now for 2 years. There's not much of a mystery factor to me, so he can take.
We know enough not to let him play.
Yeah, exactly.
We know enough for it to be stupid to accept that request. Yeah. Let me see if it's time for the questions then. Let's see where we at. Premier League international preview. What y'all got on that? I didn't look up. We could just talk about international week next week.
I think there's 2 huge games coming up. One is that I think Egypt play Senegal which is the World Cup qualifier. So there's the winner goes through. It's a 2-leg game on the 25th and 29th, and the winner goes through to the World Cup. And
what about the loser? No, they don't have no more chances?
No.
So, are they in a group together?
No, this was I think they have like playoffs, and then eventually playoff stage. So there's this one spot left, and you would think like they would have sealed it before, but somehow they haven't. So
I think there's some playoffs in Europe as well, because England aren't playing. They already qualified.
It's all friendlies for England, right?
Yeah, they got Switzerland and Ivory Coast.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. I think in the CONCACAF, there's some important games, like something involving Mexico and Honduras and America and somebody. But I think I'm trying to remember when that is. And I think Brazil and Argentina in the
There's
CONMEBOL
Mexico,
is
USA on
already
Friday.
okay, so that's going to be. That's
But
gonna be
is-
great.
I think it'll be Thursday night for you guys. It says Friday morning here.
Oh, okay.
and that's an official game, right? That's not a friendly. That's a
Yeah, that's a World Cup
qualifier.
qualifier.
Okay. Yeah, so that's important.
That's important.
Italy, Portugal, they play their all-important games now for the World Cup qualifier.
Against each other?
No. I think Italy's playing. What's Italy playing? Oh, actually, you might be right. They are probably playing each other. Yeah.
I'd go back to the America Mexico game Thursday, Friday to like see what you guys think. Like it's a very important game. I think there's some team from underneath them that could take one of their spots if they don't get some points or not all the points. I think
not in this game. So Canada are top on 20. Everyone's paid 11. Canada are top on 25. USA and Mexico are joint on 21. Panama on 17. Costa Rica on 16.
How much do US and Mexico have?
21. So they can't
21.
be caught in this game, but they could be caught before the end.
Right before the end. So that's why it's important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Canada are playing Costa Rica, which is a good game.
Yeah, Canada is ahead of the group. America's fans are going to feel disrespected if Canada wins the group, even though they've beaten America and they're ahead of America in the group right now. But I put my no money on America to beat Mexico. But it's going to be a big game. Where are they playing at? Mexico or America?
It's in Mexico.
Mexico. All right.
That is going to be hostile.
Yeah, pretty hostile.
I wonder what Mexico is going to do now that US has let everybody know that they're going to have their home games in the worst possible conditions.
Tijuana.
I mean,
Tijuana.
I mean, Mexico wasn't even exactly putting their games in the best places for anybody anyway. Like everybody was doing their version of Bolivia. We don't have to ask about the Jamaica's next match. We could just bypass that completely. We're at the bottom.
See if I can find out what city it's in, because the standard stadium is the Azteca in Mexico City.
Oh yeah.
Is that have a high altitude too? Azteca Stadium?
No, I don't think so. But it's huge. It's like a new camp kind of.
Looks like
Is
it
this
is
the
at
World
the
Cup
Azteca.
Stadium?
Yeah, it's at the Azteca. Yeah, I've just had a look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's going to be quite an atmosphere.
Yeah, it's on at 2 a.m. here, but I might stay up for it because that's going to be good fun.
90K capacity.
Yeah, I'll check it out for sure, 100%.
So, Portugal, meanwhile, they have a huge injury crisis. I think they don't have Ruben Neves. They don't have Ruben Diaz. They have like 5 or 6 players injured.
Bruno's better, right? Yeah, Bruno played.
Yeah, that was COVID.
Okay. And you get cleared for COVID in less time now. So yeah. They got
Pepe
Jota.
is gone. Yeah. They got
Pepe's
Jota.
injured.
Yeah. Pepe is injured. Yeah. So they're gonna have to. So Portugal, if they win versus Turkey, the winner of Portugal-Turkey plays the winner of Italy and North Macedonia.
Is this a playoff spot that Portugal's not going through right away?
No. They got to win 2 games.
Jeez.
So, yeah. And then winner of Wales and Austria play the winner of Scotland and Ukraine. And I think that game's postponed, so I don't know what's going to happen.
And was Russia close to qualifying or anything? Like
I think Poland probably got the
points?
Poland got the walkover. So now they play directly the winner of Sweden versus Czech Republic.
Yeah,
everybody
Russia
that
got
already
kicked out.
lost. Everybody that already lost to Russia. They're like, shit. Why couldn't we have played them after they started all this trouble?
Or why
You
couldn't
wanna do
you have hurried up? Why could Putin have hurried up?
Yeah, since we're gonna have this tragedy, let's at least get some benefits out of it. What you wanna do the questions?
Yeah. So the first question, lots of US soccer questions today.
Oh man. A shout out to the LA Galaxy. They won again this weekend.
LAFC or Galaxy?
LAFC, my bad. Good catch. Even though I'm not mad at the Galaxy either.
Top of the Western Conference right now, LAFC.
Yeah.
So
they just beat Vancouver or 3-1.
Yeah.
Actually, let's continue on that theme. So Joseph Duda asks, will MLS adopt relegation and make every game count? There seems to be enough teams. And he's asking you, Ian, have you watched the Sir Alex Ferguson documentary?
I've not seen the Ferguson documentary yet because I watched it live while it was happening through his career, but I will check it out. What platform is that on again?
No idea.
Yeah, I got a writing job during the day, so it's tough to see a doc, but I'll check it out.
Seems like it's Amazon Prime.
Amazon Prime, all right.
Yeah.
And will America?
Will MLS adopt relegation? I don't think they will.
Money making America? Nah. Unless they find. Go ahead.
I think the best they can hope for is that MLS would create within itself like its own second division and then have just promotion relegation between two divisions. They're never going to have what we have in the UK with the whole pyramid of leagues.
Yeah.
Because I think obviously they want to control it all in-house under the MLS brand. So I think that they could maybe expand it further and create another division and have promotion relegation, because at least then in the top division you would have teams with something to play for all season long. Because that's the thing that gets me about lack of promotion relegation is if a team's season's done, it's done. Like there's no.
But I don't even think that's possible, because unlike in the in other parts of the world, like the US franchise model is based on the fact that you are like the whole business model is about you being in one of those teams in the top division. So no team is going to vote for a relegation because you're just giving up potentially money. And you have no incentive to agree to a relegation format.
But yeah, unless people just stop watching it because there's none of that.
Yeah.
Do they still have like the MLS draft? Is that still like help to get teams better players or number one draft picks? Or how does that work, since a lot of American players are ending up in Europe now?
I don't think it's as prominent because all the clubs have academies now as well in MLS. Mm-hmm. So they can produce their own. They don't need to go to university because they can just like come through the academy and play first team now. Same as Europe.
I think they can do a version of what you said, Lee, like if they have like just one division below and maybe let one team up.
Yeah.
Like relegate one team. They could make it interesting, but they would have to figure out a way to make it financially viable to have like, they have lower divisions now, but you know, if people were soccer crazy here, and if like some of those smaller teams in the divisions below, like if those teams blew up and got fans and had stadiums or built over a period of time, then it won't be in the near future.
Well, they should look at they should look at the video of, their boy Jesse Marsh against Norwich. the scenes when that goal went in the 94th minute, like that scene doesn't exist in the MLS because that game would mean absolutely nothing in the MLS.
Yeah, but I guess they just use the playoffs.
Yeah.
Get into the playoffs. And then
I know who doesn't
America.
want relegation right now is Phil Neville and David Beckham.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Into Miami. Hilarious.
Yeah.
Just terrible. Phil Neville's one of the worst coaches in history. He should not be a professional. It's embarrassing.
How did he do so good at Ajax? Win 4 titles. Didn't he?
Where?
No, I'm talking. No, you know what? I'm mixed. Somehow my mind. I had a conversation in my head
Coco?
while you were about Frank de Boer.
Yeah.
Oh no, because he was at Atlanta for a bit.
Right.
Yeah, he didn't win that much at Ajax, but he won some stuff. But he was like him at Ajax is like Xavi at Barcelona. Like he knows the club. He's part of the fabric. But then if he goes somewhere else, it might not be the same. That was the deal with de Boer. Like still the worst Premier League manager of all time.
He lost. He won what? 1 of 5, or what was it?
0 of anything.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, I mean Neville's horrendous. He's so bad.
Yeah, it's not great. It's not great.
All right. Fabian D562. Should Mexico or US going to the Interconfederation playoff be seen as a disappointment if they don't qualify directly? Yeah, I think they would be disappointed. You would expect Mexico and US to be among the top 3.
Yeah, I don't think there's no way they won't be in the top 4 because 4 teams go through, right?
I think 3 go through directly, and then the 4th one goes to the playoff.
It's the playoff, yeah.
Let me
Or
look
is
at this
it,
thing
or is
again.
it 4 plus 1? No, I think it's 3 plus 1. And the playoff is with South American team, right?
I think so.
Let's find out how many teams from CONCACAF go through. Let me see. Because I think it's 4, but I could be wrong. I mean, you're right about, them being disappointed. Like they're upset with where they're at now, and they're pretty much qualified. So yeah. I remember when you used to just be able to write something in Google and it would just answer your question. Now it just confuses you even more.
Yeah, it is 3 plus 1. I just looked at
3 plus 1. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Thanks for the save on that.
Just having a look at the US roster for this as well.
But teams like they play, I was thinking they play the South American, they play the OFC, the Oceania Football Confederation. So they're probably going to end up playing New Zealand.
So let's just say 4 teams from the CONCACAF go through.
Yeah. Unless Chris Wood does something crazy.
Yeah. Ain't nobody from Oceania beating anybody from the CONCACAF.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the US squad for the game, and they got all the European guys here.
And Pulisic is back in form. So, and McKinney's there.
He might be the only one who isn't.
Oh shit!
But a lot of the others are, like Dest is there. You got Anthony Robinson, who plays for Fulham, who's pretty decent. Yunus Musa, who plays for Valencia, is in there. Could have played for England. Tyler Adams from Red Bull. Pepe's there. Pulisic is there. Gio Reyna's there. Tim Ware's there.
Gio Reyna's healthy?
Yeah, I thought he got injured recently, but he's in the team.
That's what I thought.
There's a guy who's at Red Bull Salzburg called Brendan Aronson, who a few Premier League clubs have been linked with. He's in the squad. I like him.
What about homeboy from Norwich?
Sargent. Don't think he's there. Yeah, I can't see him.
Norwich ruined his international career. Jesus, Norwich. All right, what's the next few questions?
So the next question is actually similar to. So Cody Lorendi asks, any thoughts on the USL Championship? And
on the what?
The USL Championship, and he adds, also, have you taken Joe to a game yet? Who's Joe?
Rogan.
Joe Rogan. Oh, okay.
USL, I don't follow it.
So the USL is probably, so, I think Lee, you were talking about the second division.
Yeah, it's the biggest thing outside of the.
Yeah. So there's no, I mean, it's not part of the pyramid, but I guess it's still the second highest league.
Yeah, you've got. I mean, it's only just kicked off. It's 2 games in, but you've got there's a couple of feeder teams in there, or reserve teams. So the Red Bulls and Atlanta both have second teams in there. Southampton actually have a team that they're partnered with who are in that division.
Oh yeah.
Hartford Athletic from Connecticut. So we have coaches working over there for them. But yeah,
there's a Long Island Rough Riders in there.
They're not.
There used to be a Long Island Rough Riders. I think they were in the USFL.
Yeah, but LA Galaxy have got a second team in there. There's a team who are managed by an ex-Southampton player at Orange County. Richard Chaplow. I think they won their Western Conference last season. But yeah, there's some teams with some big followings in there, like Miami FC. There's Miami FC who've been around longer than Inter Miami, but aren't associated with them, who are pretty good. Detroit City.
That's where Inter Miami should be. Inter Miami should be in the USL.
Yeah. Detroit City have got a big following, I think, as well.
How did Tampa Bay Rowdies end up there? Weren't they part of the MLS at some point?
No, they were part of the old
okay.
thing. I watched them. I once watched the Tampa Bay Rowdies when they had Joe Cole playing for them in the USL.
Oh damn!
I watched them play. I went to watch them play against New York Cosmos when they were still a team.
Oh, okay.
It was out at Hofstra University on Long Island.
Yeah, I used to live near there. I used to walk by there all the time by Hofstra University. It's in Uniondale.
Yeah, it was at the Hofstra University Stadium. It was Tampa Bay Rowdies versus Cosmos. I was sat 3 seats away from Alessandro Nesta.
Oh damn!
At the time, he was manager of Miami FC in the USL, so he was there scouting for future opposition. But New York Cosmos had they had Nico Cranchar, who used to play for Tottenham, and they had this Venezuelan guy who was a real baller called Juan Arango. He was like a number 10 who did no running, but just every time he got the ball was just crazy balling out. So that was but I was there to see Joe Cole.
You were on Long Island. You should have hit me up. Even though I was probably here.
You were probably there, yeah. This was 2015. No, 2016. Yeah, this was March, May 2016-ish. It was the same weekend. The day before, I went to watch Jesse Marsh coaching Red Bulls against New York City FC with Vieira when they won 7-0.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I was at Yankee Stadium the day before to watch that, and then the day after I went to watch that game.
Yeah, Jesse Marsh has pumped some goals past Vieira in the MLS. And I don't know if their schedules are going to meet each other based on when Jesse Marsh got the job at Leeds, if they have a game against Crystal Palace coming up. But that'll be interesting because they faced each other a lot or a decent amount of times in the MLS. And Jesse Marsh, was it Red Bulls? They pumped him. They
7-0. I'm waiting for Jesse Marsh to sign Bradley Wright Phillips for Leeds.
Oh.
And whatchamacallit, the guy, here's the irony. James Harris, I think. What's the name of the Leeds player?
Harrison.
That's Harrison. I think he
Hudson.
used to play for Jesse Marsh or Vieira.
He played for Vieira. He was in the team that got battered 7-0 that day.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
Also, fun one. That game, Frank Lampard was at New York City FC, but he was a sub, and they brought him on when they were losing 5-0 or something, and the stadium announcer introduced him as Super Frankie Lampard, and the whole stadium booed.
Oh,
So you can't introduce someone as Super when they're 5-0 down.
But, was that he was with Del Piero?
Pirlo and Villa.
Pirlo and Villa. Oh, okay, Pirlo. Yeah.
That New York City team was stacked, and they got dicked on by a team that had Bradley Wright Phillips up front.
Right.
He's like the third best footballer in his own family.
Hilarious.
He couldn't even score in League One in the UK, and then he was like Golden Boot in the MLS.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
It looks like this is San Diego. I remember seeing this team, San Diego Loyal.
Are they the ones who Landon Donovan's involved with?
Yeah. Landon Donovan tried so hard to get an MLS expansion team in San Diego, and then when that didn't work out, I think this is the team he came up with.
There's a Vegas team in the USL as well. They play at like a baseball stadium.
And they also have Phoenix Rising, which is where Drogba played, I think, the last season of his career.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, pretty. So anyway, so the question was thoughts on the championship. So
On
I think this is Cody Lorendi's question. So yeah, I think we covered that.
Mm-hmm. On what championship?
The USL. This league we're talking about, it's called the USL Championship.
It's only it's only a couple of games in. And like I said, I'm a Hartford fan.
Hilarious because of Southampton. That's my thoughts.
All right, Joey Michael asks, will Liverpool make it past Man City in the FA Cup? Lots of great late fixtures qualifying in English football this year. Yeah, I think it's going to be one of those games where you look at all the Liverpool Man City games of late, they've all been very tight. So depending on how the league is stacked up around that time, they might tell you, so like one of these teams might not take that game that seriously.
I don't think these coaches take everything seriously. Especially Klopp just plays everybody all the time, unless there's an injury.
But not in the domestic cups. Not in the domestic cups though. He does rotate there, or at least he used to for this season.
The only person he'll rotate because he has confidence now is the goalkeeper, and he doesn't even have to do that. But he just picked up Luis. Is it Luis?
Luis Diaz.
Diaz, and Jota's in fine form. It's got Firmino, Mane. Origi's not even a pitcher anymore.
Yeah.
Huh?
They have enough depth right now.
Yeah, he can rotate that front line without really weakening them.
Yeah.
Yeah. They both have enough depth to take both games serious.
Yeah.
Tournaments, contests.
Asa Adam asks, will the MLS ever be taken seriously globally, and what needs to happen to do so?
Promotion, relegation.
I mean, what level of seriousness are you talking? Because there is a level of seriousness now. Like, people are buying players from the MLS, like in some of Europe top leagues. But, there's South American leagues that have been in existence for hundreds of years, not hundreds of years, but 100 years that, aren't taken as serious as the European teams, because wherever the money is, that's where the seriousness is. And most of the money is in Europe. So then they'll just always devalue these leagues like the MLS and the South America. by buying their best players and having the better quality. So
I think this is as serious as you can expect it to be taken at least in the near future, because you look at the leagues like the Portuguese league or even the South American leagues. I think you probably need one really golden star coming out every couple of years from these leagues to be taken to the next level. We already had Alphonso Davies a couple of years back, and Gio Rena's gone there from here. Pulisic didn't play any MLS; he went straight there. So the more players I think who hit the top teams in Europe, having played in the MLS, I think it's only going to increase the profile.
yeah, but they won't stay. It's not you. Say the question one more time. Sorry, because
will MLS ever be taken serious globally?
the irony is that's more on the players than it is on the owners. It's because if a player is good and he wants to stay here, then even if he racks up numbers, they'll be like, "You're doing that here." It'll be like whose son did you just mention? The third best player in the family,
Sean
Wright Phillips.
Yeah.
So yeah. So yeah, players will always ultimately go abroad, and that lessens the seriousness of the league. It'll just be a feeder league.
And that's fine. Like almost every league is a feeder league, except for the top 2 or 3.
Yeah, sure. Every team is a feeder team. Most teams are feeder teams, unless the top 2 and 3 teams, and those teams the top 2 and 3 teams could be in different leagues based on what period,
Okay. All right. Luke Macy asks, does the complete ignorance of the general population in the US towards football annoy you?
Does what?
Does the complete ignorance of the general population in the United States towards football annoy you?
No, because they're more into it now than when I first moved there. So it's good to watch the ignorance lessen and the influence of football grow. Even though it's not where it is in other countries, it's still, it's a better time for football. And being able to watch all the games, and have access to games everywhere, it's pretty amazing. So
the US is its own thing as well. It has other big sports that aren't anywhere else in the world. So yeah, it's a different culture.
Lee, there goes your best friend.
Oh, it's me. Yeah, for sure.
We were just wrapping up.
Yeah.
Another hour.
Ask Martin that question.
Martin, there's a question from the Q&A thing. The question is, does the complete ignorance of the general population in the United States towards football annoy you?
I don't understand. One more time.
Does the complete ignorance of the general population in the United States towards football annoy you?
Well, there's a lot of jokes that there is a ignorance in the United States to a lot of things, not just football, right? But I think it's just a big country, and there is probably more football fans than anywhere in the world, just because it's such a big country, right? Like overall, I think we have here more football fans than in England or Italy or Spain, in numbers. Right. So it's not a surprise. For me, why all those big clubs like to come here in the summers just to fill the obligations of their sponsors, and why MLS has a very good attendance. I saw on YouTube someone posted stats, but those were stats from last season, not this season. This season, the stats are way up in terms of attendances, and thankfully to teams like Charlotte who are packing the stadiums. But I think I wasn't a big fan of the fact that they're expanding the league, and I think it would be better if they have like a second division, but I know it goes against the nature of American sports to have first and second division and have teams going back and forth. I know that's not how they do leagues in America in general, but it would be probably better for the football purposes. Right now, you could say there are too many teams, but at the same time, it's more markets. We see another expansion team being successful, so they might continue to add more teams and have a 40-team league. But it's working, it's working. So I think football is doing fine. I think football is surpassing hockey, especially now that hockey has a big identity crisis with their biggest star having Instagram photo with Putin and rejecting to remove it, Alexander Ovechkin, and it's a big problem for NHL because he's, I think, the highest paid player and the biggest star of an NHL. I think football has a chance moving forward to be a number 3 sport after American football and basketball, and to surpass baseball and hockey.
That's good. And then just to tag something you were saying, and something Lee was saying, there's no promotion and relegation, but there is for players. When a player gets older or somehow their skills diminish, no matter what their age, they'll go down to that second league. They'll end up in the USL, and vice versa. If somebody's good in the USL, they'll get promoted by another team. But that's the only version we have of it right now. It's don't root for teams, root for players to get promoted.
And one more thing to what you just said. And I had that conversation when I went to LAFC game with a good friend of mine, Scott French, who is a working football journalist in this country for the last 40 years. And he's like the godfather of football journalism in the United States. He said, show me another league in the entire world where before the season, there are 15 contenders for the championship. You cannot pick 5, 6, 7. There's literally 15 teams that can win the league every given season, and it's a different 15. And it changes from season to season, and there's no favorite. So there is a little bit of a suspense in terms of who can win the title, and often the end result is a surprise. For example, last year, New England Revolution were kind of a dominant team. They had the highest winning percentage of the regular season, and then they lose one game and they're out. Someone else wins the title, right? Where in England, there are only 4 or 5 teams can win the title. In Germany, 2. In Italy, maybe 3, 4. And in MLS, it's 15.
Is that good or bad? I kind of like having a script and but maybe it's because I'm a Manchester United fan. So that subconsciously might, but I kind of like knowing where people are at. And then, so if there's a surprise, it's a legit surprise, like when Leicester, but
sometimes entertainment and quality are 2 different things.
Yeah.
I believe it's a more American thing to kind of have more suspense in terms of competing teams. How many teams can compete for a title? How many teams can win it? It's more like an American thing, right? Where European fans are more traditional. They support teams for the sake of it, it. Lee, and it's not me being, not nice here. But you know what I'm talking about. You support Southampton even knowing that they probably will not win a title. Maybe not never.
Same with you and Tottenham.
We can.
You just made it so easy. That was a layup.
We win every 50 years. We win every 50 years at least, But I might not be my lifetime. Might not be my lifetime, but maybe my sons, if they're once they're born, maybe they will witness that. We will see.
Take your time having those sons. Give them more.
Martin's really gonna have to start having kids.
Give them more.
No. But my point is
to win in their lifetime.
Just to make sure somebody down the line can see it or them win.
But my point is, it doesn't make you less of a fan that that you might not win it all. Where I think in America, I think the fans would be turned off, and that's why some franchises didn't make it, like Miami Fusion or Chivas USA, because if the team is not winning for a couple of years, I think a lot of fans lose interest in America. pretty much in the team.
Well, that's something America teams. That's the next level of, the relevance of the league, where people have to learn how to stick with your losing team over long periods of time. So that's just like, that already exists in basketball, and it already exists in baseball and American football. So
Jets fans.
Jets fans who are new Chelsea, probably going to be the new Chelsea owners. So
and they have they also have like the draft system, right, too, that encourages the lowest placed team to get the best young talent.
And even with the draft system, the Detroit Lions and the Jets stink. Like especially the Lions, like imagine the last 10 years, you basically got the dibs on the best players coming into the league, and you still stink. Your quarterback that was with you for his entire career leaves, and his first season wins a Super Bowl somewhere else. That's how
the
much
other
they
thing as
stink.
well, isn't it? Like, you get teams that will tank their season if they're going badly anyway.
Yeah, because you can still win something at the end of the season. Yeah.
Also, another thing I feel like the MLS can do to raise their global profile is turn up at these, the yearly Club World Cup thing. Like, they rarely have any representation, or they do anything. I don't remember a single MLS team that's actually progressed in like even to the semifinals of the Club World Cup.
They never won. They never won the title in the CONCACAF. It's always Mexican teams.
Yeah.
They never won. American teams never won it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they got to beat one of the Central American teams first.
Yeah.
But the one more good thing about MLS is that those teams are very healthy financially. Like the structure is pretty much, the league has a strong armhold on all those clubs. So there's no chance of clubs being in debt, clubs owing money to the players, or clubs being over the salary cap or whatever. Where in Europe it's a big problem for even big teams like Barcelona recently, right? Why Barcelona declined for like 2 or 3 years? Because of the financial issues. So MLS teams, they're probably in the healthiest state of finances amongst other leagues.
All right, let's do one more question. I don't want to keep.
Because they're paying players $30,000 a year.
Well, Gonzalo Higuain is making $8 million a year, and he's pretty much staying on the South Beach every day, and driving Phil Neville crazy to the point that Phil Neville called him out.
Phil Neville was probably driving them all crazy.
Phil Neville pulled a Lampard on Higuain.
Yeah. He lost another game. Now they're the worst team in the league. They lost to the worst team in the league, so now they are the worst team in the league.
Hey man, gotta win something.
All right. At Adelaide Yid asks, bro, is there a better number 9 that can ping a ball anywhere around the pitch than Harry Kane? And who takes 4th spot, Arsenal or Spurs?
That's not what he wrote. He wrote something else about Arsenal, right?
No. Oh yeah. He wrote AR ****. So
is Martin's burner account?
No. But I saw that it's not an Arsenal fan for sure. Could be a Chelsea fan. Who knows? Because now it's a big.
He's a Spurs fan.
So he's not even asking a question. He just wanted to tell us his opinion.
Yeah.
Harry Kane is the best number 9.
I guess his question is there a better deep lying number 9 than Harry Kane?
In terms of assists, for sure, but Lewandowski is a better player than Kane. But Kane is probably a better playmaker / striker, because Lewandowski only has 2 assists, but he has like 32 goals in 27 games in Germany, something like that. It's crazy. He's scoring more than 1 goal per game for the last 3 years in Germany.
But he's being
that question sort of splits Martin's loyalties between like national Polish pride and Spurs pride.
Yeah. Martin, you win either way in this question. Because the one you could say is better is Polish.
But Lewandowski's not a deep lying 9. He's an out and out.
Right.
Lead the line 9.
Yeah, I think this
No, I
question
know.
is more about like a all-round, like a deep line playmaker kind of line. So,
I mean,
Mar-
enjoy your Harry Kane, De Bruyne, but you're not going to win anything.
Martin, I guess you can close with this one. Who takes that fourth spot? Arsenal, Spurs, or United?
It's a tough one. It's a tough one because I think the game we play against Arsenal will be the key game. If we can beat Arsenal in that game, we have a very good chance. But I think if we don't win that game, that will be a problem. I think our schedule is pretty good. We play some teams that winnable games. The next 5 games, all of them are winnable games. Although at the same time, we did lose to Burnley, for example. So those are winnable games, but we gotta win it. But if we win them, then why not?
Yeah,
This is good.
I think Arsenal's got in the driver's seat, but yes,
Well,
if you have these,
still a pretty thin team, you know. It's so like if they have 1 or 2 injuries, and you know, there was a big topic because actually I did some reading today. There's a big topic about Saka complaining after the game against Aston Villa that he was being kicked around throughout the game, and Steven Gerrard told him, "Hey, I can't even go to the gym. I have so many bruises, you know, from my playing days. So stop complaining, stop playing." You know, and somebody made a comment that Antonio Conte likes to look for other teams' weaknesses, other players' weaknesses, and he might wrap Saka up when they play Arsenal because he knows that Saka kind of disappears when people are being a little bit physical with him, you know. So man, what a hater.
That should be fourth London is red.
Also,
We'll
see if Chelsea stays up, you know, if Chelsea stays up. Okay. If Chelsea stays up, then it's only 1 spot to play for. If Chelsea doesn't stay up, there are two spots for 3 teams.
Martin, they would never relegate them, but they would deduct.
Never say never.
I just said it.
Luciano Moggi was the most powerful man in Italian football, and yes, Juventus got relegated, so you never know.
It's not the same thing.
Not the same. Everything is every time is different, but it doesn't mean that it cannot happen.
How many more you got, Lee? I will just use them all.
He's ready.
Martin talk, and Lee provide the reading.
Lee's been keeping his powder dry all episode. Wait for Martin to turn up.
You're lucky I'm awake. It's almost 2 a.m. here now.
All right, we'll let you get some sleep. So that was the last one?
Yeah, that was the last one.
All right, that's hilarious. Guys, thanks for coming on. Martin, thanks for coming on strong last minute. It's not going to be enough, just like Spurs, but appreciate you showing up anyway. And Neil, thanks for doing your thing. And let's see who these owners are going to be.
Chelsea might have played their last game under Abramovich ownership.
That's so crazy.
There's a rumor IRS might be the owner first, but we'll see.
I don't think.
Well, at least we have some assets for them to seize.
I mean,
we got some silverware they can seize.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, silverware. You got some things of value.
Yeah.
And Lee, I would like to say I'm going to be checking out Southampton's feeder team in the Connecticut and USFL, but I'm not going to do that. But it's good to know you got some interest out here. Everybody, thank you for listening, for watching. Thank you, Aaron Brungardt. And we'll be back with International Week and talk about some shit then. Let's see if USA can beat Mexico and finish second in CONCACAF. Let's see what's up. All right, y'all. Thanks for the questions. See y'all next week. 1.